as we turn the page on the final days of 2024, I am looking forward, as I'm sure many of you are, to the year 2025, not only with what exciting stuff will bring us in our real lives, but in this crazy, weird world of comic books. And today I'm going to be sharing with you my top 10 most anticipated books going into 2025, the most hype books, the most exciting books for me personally. Now, on this list, I will have new series that are going to be starting up, but I will also have series that I'm just really excited to see get continued in the new year. So, yeah, with all that being said, I'm Alex. This is Graphic Novel Collector. I don't like wasting time, so let's quickly jump into this top 10 video. And I know it's sacrilege, but I actually don't have any honorable mentions in this one, only because we only have till about April or May's worth of solicitations. Like, there's some books that far down the road that we have access to, but as you probably know, comic books, they give you a couple months in advance and they start announcing things throughout the new year. So with that being said, let's jump into this top 10 video. At number 10, we've got Deadpool Wolverine issue number 1. This is a new ongoing series, of course, from Marvel Comics. This releases on January 1st, 2025. So the first Wednesday is the first day of the year. Deadpool Wolverine issue number 1. And this is going to be by Benjamin Percy and Joshua Cassara. I'm not very familiar with Benjamin Percy. He has been writing the most recent Wolverine and Wolverine ongoing series. That being said, I read the Deadpool Wolverine Extraction book by Ryan North, and it got me so excited. And if Benjamin Percy can channel any of Ryan North's comedic energy in this series, I am going to love it, because I have moved away from Deadpool in recent years, as many of you probably have heard me talk about. He's kind of, the Marvel has kind of flanderized him, in my opinion. If you love Deadpool still, more power to you, but for me, it's just not my brand of comedy. But when done right, like the movies and like that one shot that just came out a couple of weeks ago, it can be done in a really, really funny way, in my opinion. So I'm really excited to check this series out. It's coming in at number 10 because hopefully I'll like it. That being said, fingers crossed, I am optimistic that this one is going to be a fun read. Moving on to number 9, sticking with Wolverine, in fact, we have Ultimate Wolverine issue number 1. This was announced at San Diego Comic-Con a couple months ago. This is, of course, by Marvel Comics. The series starts on January 15th, 2025. 32 pages, $5.99. We've got Chris Condon on the writing duties and artist Alessandro Capriccio. So a cool thing about Chris Condon, he did That Texas Blood, which is a really, really sweet series that I really, truly enjoyed. So I'm really confident that this is going to be a series that I am going to dig. Ultimate Wolverine, issue 1. He's got a new suit, not showing his mouth. I'm really, really excited. The Maker's Ultimate Weapon from Rising Star Chris Condon and Moon Knight powerhouse Alessandro Capriccio comes the story of the Ultimate Wolverine. I am really, really stoked. Who is the weapon behind the mask? That is the big intrigue about this series. Capriccio is an excellent, excellent artist too, so I have full confidence in this creative team. Brian Valencia is on the colors. I'm not very familiar with him, but just based on the few images we've seen so far, this is going to be an absolute banger title that any Marvel fan, any Wolverine fan is going to want to hop into. I am so stoked for Ultimate Wolverine. That's why it's at number 9. Next up at number 8, we've got You Won't Feel a Thing. This is issue 1 by Scott Snyder and my guy Jock. This is by Distillery. It releases on January 15th, the same day as Ultimate Wolverine. Um, 48 pages, $8.99. Of course, this is distillery, so this is the magazine size. You've got Scott Snyder, of course, who I like Scott Snyder a lot. Some of his things go a little bit, they miss me a little bit, but Jock is an amazing artist. I love what he does in almost every asset. He's an amazing, amazing artist. Lee Longridge is the colorist, and he is pinpoint positioning too. Modern comic writing legend Scott Snyder with Witches and Gone. Jock with On Witches and Gone. To tell a story of an ailing detective. So basically, there's a detective who is starting to unfortunately develop dementia. And years ago, he was an accomplice homicide detective, so accomplished that it cost him everything else in his life. Now Jack finds himself alone, trapped in retirement home with a brain tumor that's slowly sapping his once keen mind of all the memories. But when an ice-cold serial killer case comes from his past and rears its head, Jack must call on all his remaining memories in order to stop a killer that only he still believes really exists. This sounds awesome. I'm really excited. When Scott Snyder is in his bag, is writing a hell of a story, it's amazing. Now, like I said, Scott Snyder does have some misses. I'm not going to talk about that. I like to stay positive. But this looks awesome. And Jock, you know Jock doing the art. It will actually look awesome. But that being said, we will move on from 10, 9, 8 to 7. And this is our first ongoing on the list. This is Absolute Batman issue number 4. It releases on January 8th, 2025, of course, by DC Comics. 32 pages, $4.99, kind of the going standard for DC. A lot has been said. A lot has been said about the Absolute line, specifically about Batman. Is it dumb that he's 9 feet tall and a hulking, menacing man? And yeah, but that's part of the intrigue for me. That's part of the fun. Comic books are supposed to be fun. Not everything has to be so dang serious all the time. I've really enjoyed Batman. Scott Snyder, of course, is on this in this issue, it is Gabriel Hernandez Walta. However, the usual artist is, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. Who is it? Let's go to the next issue because that should sell us. Nick Dragotta. Yes, Nick Dragotta. So Nick Dragotta is the usual artist on this, and I am intrigued to see what happens. We have Absolute Batman has established himself as an extremely large force, no pun intended, I'm sure, to be reckoned with. But how did he get to this point? How did he push himself? And how did the tragic events of his childhood and the advice of his father shape him into the man he became? Literally. Guest artists, so they talk about the guest artists, but this is an awesome series, I believe, so far, and I'm really enjoying it. I want to see how the Joker plays into this. Now, obviously, the Joker is not the usual prime Joker that we know, the maniacal, ha ha ha, laughing all the time. The reason they call him the Joker is because he never laughs, and he's the billionaire in this series, but I've really liked it. The fact that Bruce Wayne still has his mother and his father was gunned down at basically a mass shooting at a zoo in Gotham because his dad was a teacher. He didn't grow up with massive wealth. I'm liking it. I think that if this, and this might be a little bit redundant to say because it quite literally is about what I'm about to say. If Batman were created today, this is how Batman would be reimagined. Maybe not 9 feet tall and huge, but, I think this has some very contemporary poignant points that it speaks to. I've really liked Absolute Batman, and Nick Dragotta on the art most of the times has been amazing. Not most of the time his art's good. I'm saying when he's on the art. Most of the times he is on the art, so it's been amazing. All right, so on to 6, we have Kaya. Now, this is a series that I read in trade paperback form. That being said, I assume at some point we are going to get another trade. I am kind of breaking my own rule in my head here that I didn't want to talk about books that didn't officially have a release, but I assume we will get a new release. Kaya is an amazing, amazing story of this little girl in this fantastical world whose little brother Jin, Kaya and Jin, that's their names. Jin is supposed to be basically the superhero that's going to save the kingdom and save the lands, and Kaya's job is to get her to a specific place. I forget exactly where. It's been a while since I've read Kaya, but that's the gist of it. This is the end of the story arc. I don't even really want to read this because I hate spoiling, because, you know, when previews and when you read the synopsis, sometimes it does just straight up spoil things. And since I'm reading this in trade, I am hopeful that there will be a new trade this year. I'm really loving this. This is by Image Comic. This issue specifically comes out January 8th of 2025. It is by Wes Craig. He is the artist and writer. The colorist is Jason Wardy. And the art in this, I love Wes Craig's art. It is abstract enough, and it's just a little bit different than most comic book art that you really, really love it, but it's still as familiar so that it's not way too out there. But Kaya has been an amazing journey so far. I've read all 3 of the trades. I actually have them right back there, but I'm excited for more Kaya. Give me more Kaya. Moving on to 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. We've got Ultra Mega. This is trade paperback number 2. Oh my gosh. I discovered a hidden gem in 2023 that I was not ready for. I'm not a big Ultraman fan or Kaiju fan or anything like that, but oh my gosh, Ultra Mega takes that core principle that we know about Kaijus and Ultraman and flips the script in such a awesome way. You have to read. I'm not going to spoil it here, but this is the second trade. It's by Image Comics and Skybound. This issue releases on April 29th, 2025. It is by James Herron. Colorist is Dave Stewart. James Herron does the art and writes it, but James Herron is a longtime BPRD writer, and he wrote Rumble as well. Rumble's a book that I haven't read yet, but I definitely want to check it out, especially after reading Ultra Mega. But yeah, this is awesome. I'm so excited. Think of what you know about Kaiju. Flip it, the script. The art is amazing. One thing I kind of beef with Kaiju monsters a lot of the time is there's a lot of, you don't really know what's what. You can't really tell, you know, where the head is, where the torso's. I will say James Herron knows how to draw some Kaijus. I'm really excited for Ultra Mega. Ultra Mega trade paperback, volume 2. It's hitting shelves April 29th, 2025. Moving on to number 4, almost cracking the top 3, but I had to give it to another book. We've got Transformers Deluxe Edition, hardcover issue, or volume number 1. This is, of course, by Daniel Warren Johnson and Jorge Corona. Mike Spicer on the colors. What can I say? Transformers, this book is so good. This book is one of the best ongoing books right now. And thankfully, we have Daniel Warren Johnson on the book until issue 24. This is going to be basically the way to collect this, in my opinion. I've already got the first trade. Probably going to end up selling that so that I can buy into this. This is by Skybound. It releases April 30th, 2025. This is 280 pages, oversized, case-bound for $49.99. But this is going to be an awesome get. This story's been amazing. I am not your typical Transformer fan. I grew up a little bit after the Transformers boom in the late 80s. I was born in 90. So I don't have that nostalgia for Transformers. And of course, the Michael Bay movies, the first one was decent and the others were abysmal, right? That being said, I don't have all the nostalgia that a lot of comic book readers have for this series. I went into the series pretty much blind. I knew who Optimus Prime was, and of course I knew who Bumblebee was. They killed Bumblebee in the first issue. That being said, I really love this. I guess I should have said spoiler. I don't know. The series is great, and if you're not reading it yet, you definitely should be. Daniel Warren Johnson, might show up again on this list. Spoiler alert. I guess I kind of ruined the video here, but no, Transformers is amazing. Daniel Warren Johnson is amazing. And this is the 4th most anticipated book for 2025 on this list. Moving on to the top 3. But before we get to the top 3, I just want to say, if you're enjoying this video, if you like comic book content like this, make sure to like the video and, of course, subscribe. Hulk smash that subscribe button as I come out with comic book content like this each and every single week. Not only just top 10 videos, but I also do weekly. Yes, I am a weekly comic book collector. I know the name of the channel's Graphic Novel Collector, but I collect weekly comic books as well. But yes, moving on to the moment you've all been waiting for. Top 3. Here we go. At number 3, we've got Radiant Black. This is the continuation. We finally know who the Radiant is. Well, they're kind of spoiling it right there. The new Radiant Black is Marshall. This is by Image Comics, February 26, 2025, just a couple days after my birthday. This is a 32-page comic for $3.99, but this is by Kyle Higgins, Joe Clark, and then the artist is Eduardo Federico. Colorless is Rod Fernandez. And Rebecca Carey on the lettering, which I want to mention because her lettering is phenomenal. Radiant Black is a series. If you didn't watch my top 10 video, it was definitely on there. Top 10 best comic books of 2025. You can check it out. I'll put it up there. It'll probably be a little bit earlier in the video, but go check that out because Radiant Black was definitely on it. And I absolutely adore this series. It is a contemporary take on superheroes and what it means to be a superhero. And if you are a millennial who loves superhero comic books, you need to be reading this series. If you're not yet, what are you doing? Pause this video, go pick up the first year hardcover from your local comic shop. Read it, continue this video, and tell me that I am lying, because I guarantee if I'm lying, I'm flying. And I don't have wings. This book series is amazing. I'm really excited. I was worried that the series was going to end at the end of the Catalyst War. Thankfully, it did not. We have another year of Radiant Black, and I couldn't be happier. But what, you might ask, is more important or better, in my opinion, more hyped than Radiant Black? We've got Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee back on a Batman book. This is Batman 158. Chip Zdarsky's run has come to an end at this point on March 19th, 2025. Thanks to DC Comics, Chip Zdarsky's run will be over. Now, I do want to say, before I get into this book, I think Chip Zdarsky's run was a mixed bag, but I also need to acknowledge it wasn't his fault. There were so many crossovers and tie-ins. I think actually the series that we're getting right now, right here in the pages of this Batman book, right here, we're finally getting what he wanted to tell all along. I like Chip Zdarsky. This Batman run has been, again, a mixed bag, but I don't think it's necessarily been his fault, if that makes sense. But talking about Batman 151, this new creative team, Jim Lee, Jeff Loeb, the obviously legendary team from Hush, I'm super, super duper excited. Scott Williamson on the inking and Alex Sinclair coloring. But I'm excited to see what they cook up. This is Hush 2, official Hush 2, not by a different creative team or some side story that's Hush 2. This is actual factual Hush 2. I'm so stoked. I wonder how long this is going to go. Maybe a year? I imagine it has to be at least 12 issues. I'm really excited, though, for Batman. Batman's one of my favorite characters in all of comic books, so I am more than stoked to see Batman Hush 2 by the original creators. But what could usurp Batman by Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee for the number 1 spot? Well, I mentioned earlier, Daniel Warren Johnson was going to be on this video again, and it is none other than The Moon is Following Us. Yes, this is Daniel Warren Johnson and Riley Rossimo, Mike Spicer on the colors, but Daniel Warren Johnson is doing the writing duties as well as doing the art. But Riley Rossimo is also doing the art. How could that be? Well, there's two different worlds. We're in the dreamland, we're in the real world. I'm loving this series so far. If you are a parent, you must read this book. But if you just have a beating heart inside your chest, you need to read this series. Daniel Warren Johnson knows how to create compelling, heartfelt, memorable, quite frankly, heartbreaking tales that any comic book fan needs to read. These are so good. This says the final battle is at hand for Penny. This is the 5th issue, 32 pages for $3.99. Of course, from Image Comics. It comes out on January 15th, 2025. This is the variant edition, variant cover, which I am going to be getting. I'm usually a cover A kind of guy, but I'm actually getting the variants from Daniel Warren Johnson because I just love his work so much. The Moon is Following is an amazing story of these two parents that their daughter, Penny, is unfortunately stuck in a dream state. They can't wake her up. The doctors don't know why. In the real world, they're obviously dealing with that, so they find a way to jump into the dream world. And a really cool hook is all of the characters within the dream world are actually her toys. So she's gonna be saved by her toys. There was an amazing twist at the end of the last issue. I don't want to give it away. Just read the book. It's fantastic. 5 stars, no notes on the series thus far. The Moon is Following Us is my #1 most anticipated series in 2025. Oh my gosh, there you have it, folks. There are my top 10 most anticipated, must-have, whatever you want to say, comic book series of 2025. I am so stoked. Comic books are amazing. We are pushing forward to 1,000 subscribers this year. That is the goal. Make sure if you enjoy this content, you like, and of course, subscribe. Hit the notification bell icon so you don't miss out. If you want to chop it up with me elsewhere, I'm on Twitter at LesAlex. You can find me on Instagram at Graphic Novel Collector YT, and you can check out my League of Comic Book Geeks where I post most of my reviews for all of in obviously text format. You can read them. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching this. Again, if you did enjoy it, subscribe. I appreciate you. Until the next time I see you, keep reading comics, keep collecting comics, keep collecting graphic novels. This is Alex, Graphic Novel Collector is the name of the channel, and I will catch you all on the flippy flop. Adios, everyone.